Hello friends, welcome back. Now we are going to look at what's the next, which is a visualizing interface topic. In this topic, we'll learn how the visualizing interface matters and many more, like how it has been used, how it can be used, how it is so important, and many more. Let us see what are all the topics we are going to cover in this lesson. First, which is we'll understand what is visualization. Then we'll go to visualization tips. Then a 5 steps to design an information visualization. Example of visualizing interface. Then we'll see on a conclusion. Let's go one by one, which is first is visualization. As you see on a screen, it shows a multiple graph and pie charts and many more, which gives a clear data which has been drawn into the picture and shows that which is up and which is down and how a profit is good or less or many more. Visualizations matter to understand through on a first view itself. So so if I want to say every UX works needs to be clearly understood by all the stakeholders in a UX project. That's why instead of writing boring reports, UX visualizations helps us make our work stronger and reliable. Visualization represents of UX stories capture attention, provide clarity, and inspire us to take the action like persona, wireframe, journey map, user flow, and infographic, and great examples of UX visualizations. You'll get to know what else all we are going to learn in this. Now, we'll take a look on visualization tips. It says that first, it says that go beyond Excel. Excel and Word graphics are easy, but most people doesn't want to see understand lines like bar or pie charts, many more. We have to design a new ones and go beyond the charts or the table or the columns. Next is a form follows data. Form follows function is a good design motto for product design. Design just must help to data easily understood by people on one view itself. Next, know your audience. If level joins the meeting, if C level joins the meeting, you should focus on main topic, not details. However, if you are presenting to product team, give every detail to the team itself. You'll get by knowing your audience. Next, set expectations, which is, if I like to say, it is time limit and etc. Always have a CTA. Now again, CTA stands for call to action. Data should say something. Do it. Everyone loves call to action. Somebody tells us what to do, so you should use CTS in your outcomes. Next, be inspired. There are a lot of resources you can find inspiration like Behance, Dribble on Google, or Google is a big platform where you can get a lot of inspirations. So take inspirations and start working on it. Let's see what's next. We have 5 steps to design an information visualization. Let us see what are the 5 steps we have. 1. Define the problem. As with any user work experience, the first step is to define the problem that your information visualizations will solve. This will usually require some user research to answer the questions. What does my user needs from this? and how will they work with it. You may be trying to explain something to a user, or you may be trying to enable them to make new connections or observations. It might even be that the user is trying to prove a theory. You should also take into account any specific factors that are unique to the user based during this research. What is their level of education or ability with data handling? What kind of experience do they have with the data in the past? This will guide the level of complexity of the output and clarify the overall needs of the user. Define the data to be represented. There are three many types of data that can be represented through information visualization, and the way that they are mapped can vary dynamically. So if I pays to have it clear in our mind before we start designing, what data will we use? One is quantitative data. This data, which is numerical. Ordinal data, data which doesn't have numbers but does have an intention from of order. Think days of the week, for example. Then categorical data, data which has neither number nor intrinsic order, such as business name or place name. Third, define the dimensions required to represent the data. In this, the number of dimensions or attributes of a data set must be considered carefully, as it will determine to a great extent the possible information visualization that can be used to represent the data. Next, we have defined the structure of the data. This is all about examining how the data set will relate to each other. Next, a fourth is define the structure of the data. This is all about examining how the data sets will relate to each other. Common relationship structures include linear relationship, where data can be shown in linear formats such as tables, vectors, etc. Next, temporal relationship. In this, the data changes over the passage of time. Next, spectral relationship. The data that relates to the real world, such as take an example of map or an office floor plans. This is something also known as a geographical relationship. Next, which is hierarchical relationship. Data that relates to positions in a defined hierarchy, from an office management structure to a simple flowchart. Then last, we have networked relationship, where the data relates to other entity within the same data. So these are the five for the structure of the data. Then we have the last define the interaction required from the visualization. The final part of design process requires that you understand the level of interaction from the information visualization by the user. So till now we had learned the five steps of design and information visualization. Let's see some example. Next we have example of visualization interface. To put a data into the visualization or into the interface, we have something steps called one, which is persona. What is a persona? It is a representation of a type of a customer. Persona answers the question, who are we designing for? And they help to align strategy and goals to specific user groups. User persona is a hypothetical archetype of an actual user profile according to their expectations, needs, goals, and observations, behaviors, patterns. A personal note on a personal note. A user persona uncomplicate to expectations, hints at a few paths to resolution and eventual help me to reach a potential better user experience. If I like to say, a persona is a functional representation of your ideal customer. As a UX designer, you will start to design process by conducting user research, building empathy with your target users, and identifying exactly what they need from the product you will designing. A persona is generally based on this user research and incorporate the need, goals, and observation behaviors pattern of your target audience. We can use the 5 steps to create relevance for user persona interaction, which is write down the key interaction of the product, draft the problem statement of the product, redefine the interaction and the statement, create questions based on the interview, rephrase the questions in 3 to 4 different ways. Let's see an example of a user persona, how it looks. So we have taken example of a clerk and drill. Again, this is taken from an internet to show you for an references purpose. So if you see on a top, we had given his name, a person name. What else all a persona gets in this? We have a name and we have a picture. Persona is a great way to streamline these findings and discovering about your target user segments. It's like a checklist of what works and doesn't work with the users. A key insight to note from user personas is to establish a user's current subject matter understanding. A well-defined user persona contains 4 key pieces of information, which is a header, which has a name, then the demographic profile, which has a picture and some strength, and the percentage of the technologies and the personalities and the brands what he uses, and end goal, like we have a goal where you can see in the center of the goals is to cut down and unhealth eating and drinking habits. So there are some multiple goals of a user, and we have a scenarios which says that a frustration what the problem he is facing out. Like we have a bio what user does, and we had kept into the age, occupation, so everything we get to know. Like we have motivations and personalities too. So in the basis of this, we can identify what kind of user he is, or what else he needs, or what he does in his free times, and what are his hobbies, what technology he uses, and what kind of personality he has. So according on basis of this, we'll get to know what he needs and how the output he needs it. So next, let's see why persona is used. A persona clarifies who is in your target audience by answering the following questions. 1. Who is my ideal customer? So this is a question. Then we have what are the current behaviors patterns of my user? What are the needs and goals of my user? What issues and pain points do they currently face within the given context? So these are the questions. If you get the answer from the user, if you find the answer on the basis of the data, you can create your entire product. Like if I like to say, user personas are essential in helping you design your website or applications to meet the needs of our users. The most important goal of personas is to create understanding and empathy with the end users. Like understanding needs of your user is vital to developing a successful product. Well, defined persona will enable you to identifying and communicate your user needs. Personas will also help you describe the individuals who use your product, which is essential to you overall value proportions. Persona helps with struggling and making smart design decisions. They make real users memorable for the product team, helping to focus efforts and building empathy. A next step, which is a wireframe. Now, what is wireframe? It is a visual representation of a user interface stripped of any visual design or branding elements. It is used by UX designers to define the hierarchy of items on a screen and communicate what the item on that page should be used on user needs. A wireframe is also known as a skeleton or a static. A wireframe has a three different A wireframe is also a static, like low-fidelity representation of different layouts that forms a product. So it's a visual representation of an interface using only simple shapes. Like wireframe look like they were designed with wires, and that's where the name comes from. So wireframes are used to communicate structures, how the pieces of the page will be put together, content, what will be displayed on the page, and functionality, how the interface will look or it works. At the core, wireframes are stories about the future. They help design team creates a shared sense of the current state, the future version of the path they will take you to get there. Wireframes are similar in purpose to an architecture blueprint. If you check an architecture blueprint, you will see how a given space will be allocated for different rooms, but you won't see the finished room. So originally the term wireframe meant a visual representation of three-dimensional objects like those used in product design and development. Now it is also used to design 3D model in computer animations and in the design and development of 2D web page and mobile applications. Wireframe should looks like it should be devoid of color, just simple black, white, and a gray colors. Use generic font. Don't spend time in choosing a perfect font for wireframes. You will get a rough time to do that during the high fidelity mockup phase. No graphics, just indicate that there will be an image in this place to display how big the image should be. Graphic tends to distract from the main purpose of the website. Indicate content. Don't spend time in writing the content. Just add placeholder holder text. Like you can add a lorem ipsum, and indicates how long the text should be. So let's see next, which is a type of wireframes. Consisting of box and lines, a wireframe can be a basic as a sketch on paper or a whiteboard. Most designers create wireframes different fidelity levels within a short time that illustrate simple visual design. A typical wireframe Typically, wireframe falls into one of three groups, which is a low fidelity. The low fidelity wireframes, it's are just a quick sketch that can make ideas more tangible. Next, a medium fidelity wireframes. These wireframes can help to communicate to teams how aesthetic features can support essential functionalities. Next, a high fidelity wireframe. In this, it takes more effort to create, but they are effective in that they reveal how a product will look at project completion. So let's see how this three looks like. Actual On a screen, you can see how the low fidelity wireframes can be drawn or can be presented. So on this, you can identify there's a image placeholder and there's a text lines where the text is going to be represented, and below there's a action button. So in this, a low fidelity wireframe, usually black and white schemes. In this low fidelity wireframe, we usually use black and white scheme of simple sketches like on paper. Focus on the big picture of the page or project. Your elements are shown as boxes and lines without detailed annotations. While low fidelity wireframes are usually abstract, they offer a change to see the basic structure of the user interface. They may not take a lot of effort, but they spare a lot of exact effort down the road. They help business shape their product in the early stage of collaboration with the development team. Next, we have a medium fidelity wireframe. Usually, there are just two wireframes, which is you can say a low fidelity and the high fidelity wireframe. So depend upon the project's time they the designers use to do the wireframes. So if the designer gets more time to do, then he can use the high fidelity wireframes. Out of from this, if we I want to explain the medium fidelity wireframe are created in a microchrome or grayscale palette, while medium fidelity wireframes can still be created manually using digital tools to create more details are realistic. UI components can also be meaningful for understanding how some aesthetic details could merge with essential functionalities. So the next we have the high fidelity wireframe. So in this, it's like are be created slowly with digital tools. The core difference from the another type of wireframe is a high fidelity wireframe. These are built in with some colors and presented screens that are closer to how the code appears in final version of the software. So these are about all the wireframes. So let's see why wireframes are used. There are several interrelated purposes for wireframes. Let's go one by one. Ensuring the site or app is built according to goal. It sees features clearly with minimum creative influence, allows stakeholders to focus on others aspects of the project. Wireframe sets expectations about how features will be implemented by showing how features will work, where they will be located, and how much benefit they will provide. A feature may be pulled out because it does not fit into your site goal. Next, focusing on usability. Wireframing provides an objective look at link names, paths to conversion, ease of use, navigation, and the placement of features. Wireframe helps you identify flaws in site architecture or features and show you how well it flows from a user perspective. Next, content growth capacity. If you know your site will grow in the near future, your website needs to be able to accommodate that growth with minimum impact to the site architecture, usability and design. Wireframe can reveal these important opportunities for content growth and how to fit them in. Next, our feedback and painless interaction. Like instead of merging the full functionality, layout and creative elements in should be in single step. Wireframes guarantee that these considerations are taken on separately. This allows stakeholders to provide feedback much sooner into the process. Creating wireframes using software makes the interactive process in fact in web design much easy of a sure. So this is why we use wireframe. Next, we have a journey map, which is also known as user journey mapping. It refers to the map of scenarios in which the user interacts with end-to-end system, both product and service. Normally, the scenarios consist of between 4 and 12 steps. User journey helps in scoping out a project and helps us takes a customer-focused design approach. They are true relations of the user research and not just the assumed hypothesis. A complex user journey may require future analysis with multiple journey maps based on the specific user persona. User journeys uncover the and key user pain point, different touch points, emotions, and highs and lows of experience while users are engaged with product services. Next, user journey maps are created to focus on various aspects of a solution, not only the digital vacuum but also the experience ecosystem. Let us see how the journey map looks like. So if you see on a screen, it shows that from start, like help, it says that help, and then the ambulance comes up, then the nurse comes to the boy and takes the information and fills like examine and treatment of a stroke, then complete all treatment, then show examination and treatment of stroke sequentially, rehab begins. So this is like a step of a user journey map. Let's see why journey map is used. The purpose of journey mapping is to understand what customers go through and improve the quality of your customer experience, ensuring consistency and a seamless experience at all touchpoints and across all channels. There is no subsequential for listening to your customer about how the steps in the journey are working out for them. So the benefits of a customer journey map includes 1. Helping you see where customers interact with your business, then focus the business on particular customer needs at different stage in the buying funnel, identifying whether the customer journey is in a logical order, then giving an outside representative on your scale process, showing the gaps between the desired customer's experience and the one actual receives. Then highlighting development priorities, allowing you to concentrate efforts and expenditure on what matters most to maximize effectiveness. So this is all about why we use a journey map. So let's see next, which is a user flow. In user flow, a path taken by a prototypical user on a website or an application to complete a task. So the user takes them from their entire entry point through a set of steps towards a successful outcome and final action, such as purchasing a product. For each user flow, the questions you need to consider are: what is user trying to accomplish? What is important to the user and what will give them confidence to continue? What additional information will the user needs to accomplish the task? What are the user's barriers to accomplishing the task? So here what I had explained. So to all this question, the answer to is how you design the pages and determine what content and navigational links to include. If a user primary goal is to browse various items, your page or screen will offer different design and functionality than it could have in their primary goal is to purchase a product and move on. A journey tells the possible ways a user can interact with a product. User flow, on the other hand, describes the actual route users take, how they accomplish their goal within the product. The difference are design focus versus use focus. While user journey focus on the UX design, often entire process from start to finish. User flow focus on the individual stage of UX as pragmatic use cases, the actual step users take. Here, let us see how user flow works. For here, this is for the sign up. So on the step first, a click button on home page. Then step 2, enter your mail ID. And step 3, a thank you message. So it can take a many different form depending on the type of website or application you are building for. Let's see what's next. Now we'll see why user flow is used. The purpose of user flow analysis is to identify the main user flow through your app or website and identify areas where the navigation flows can be improved. A user flow is a series of steps a user takes to achieve a meaningful goal. They are used to communicate the trend follow of a user through various pages and actions in an app or a website. To create quick way to map the key touchpoints between your customer and your product or service. They are useful for aligning the team of the purpose of the business and for building the development of the screens and features. So this is why we user flow use. Next, which is an infographic. Infographics are graphic visual representation of information, data, or knowledge intend to present information quickly and clearly. They are improved cognition by utilizing graphics to enhance the human visual system ability to see patterns and trends. And information can be combined of imaginary graphic data and text, and its purpose is to make data easily understood at a glance or with a brief amount of attention. Classical graphs such as bar charts, chain charts, histograms, etc. can all be considered to be infographic, but in the mind of the modern consumer of data, the infographic is something similar to the picture. Good infographics are accurate in that they contain reliable, sourced information. However, they use infographics to pursue data may be truly, poorly, if at all, sourced and unreliable. Smart information consumers will evaluate an infographic for reliability, but sadly, many information consumers will not. This is why your Facebook fills up with nonsense purporting to be fact. Next, we'll see what makes a good infographic. If you see on a screen, it says that infographics are generally conveyed to or convey a specific message. In this example, you can see what makes a good infographic, but it might and easy be what information visualization matters or choosing the perfect color for a car. An infographic is a collection of imaginary, chart, and minimum text that gives an easy to understand overview of a topic. So in this you can see the data, stories, shareability and the design part. So moving next, why infographics are used. Infographics are great for making complex information easy to digest. They can be helpful anytime you want to. Like infographics are graphic visual representation of information that or knowledge intends to present information quickly and clearly. They can improve by utilizing graphic to enhance the human visual system's ability to see patterns and trends. Like provide a quick overview of a topic, explain a complex process, display research finding or survey data, summarize a long blog post or report, compare and contrast multiple options, raise awareness about an issue or cause. When you need to give someone a real quick rundown on something that can be hard to explain in words alone, an infographic is a good way to go. So this is all about knowing about the infographic or information visualization. Let's conclude what else all we had gone through. The process of creating information visualization typically starts with understanding the information needs of the target user group. Like qualitative research can reveal how, when, and where the visualization will be used. Taking this insight, a designer can determine which form of data organization is needed for achieving the user's goal. Once information is organized in a way that helps user understand it better and helps them apply it so as to reach their goals, visualization techniques are the next tool a designer brings out to use. Visual elements, for example maps and graphs, are created along with appropriate labels and visual parameters such as colors, contrast, distance, and size are used to create an appropriate visual hierarchies and a visual path through the information. Information visualization is becoming increasingly interactively, especially when used in a website or applications. Being interactive allows for manipulation of the visualization by user, making it highly effective in catering to their needs. With interactive information visualization, users are able to view topics from different perspectives and manipulate their visualizations of this util until they reach the desired insight. This is what especially useful if users required an explorative experience. So this is all about an information visualization or a visualization information. So I hope everyone enjoyed of this lesson. So we had covered the entire topic of a visualizing interface. So I hope if something more we come up, then we'll see in more details. Thank you for putting your effort and a time and your patience. Thank you.